Today is an exciting day. We are celebrating the new issue of the Being Brave Tour magazine. Ladies, I'm so thrilled to introduce you to these wonderful women of Carol Dockham's Beautiful Faces Going Places Women's Success Network. How can you not smile when you say that name? All these beautiful faces. It just warms my heart, Carol. Thank you for bringing all these ladies together and sharing their heart and their brilliance and their beauty with all of us here. So welcome. Tell us a little bit about these ladies and about your network.
Absolutely. Well, it is a true honor to be here today, celebrating these beautiful women,
Yeah.
beautiful, brave, inspiring women. They're all part of our community here at Beautiful Faces Going Places Women's Success Network. They have big hearts, big souls, and big voices, visions, and dreams. And together, we, as a collective, are impacting other women in business, women entrepreneurs by sharing our brilliance. So I'm just so grateful that they all said yes to the opportunity to be part of this fabulous Brave Tour magazine experience. And as you had mentioned, Karen, it is a movement. And these women represent beautiful faces going places. So thank you so much, Karen, for the opportunity. We're it's just empowering women who want nothing more than to help other women through our support network as a community to help women in business succeed. So we all can't do it alone. And it is, our mission is to market, promote, and connect women entrepreneurs so that we're not doing it alone.
And I think that's really key. And that's one of the things, okay, ladies, when you look in the magazine and you see the pictures, you see these ladies hugging and they're smiling and they're cheering each other on. And Carol, you talk about women pursuing their dreams with a little bit of encouragement along the way. So, like you said, you don't have to do it in isolation. You don't have to do it alone because being a woman entrepreneur, a woman in business, sometimes you can just feel like it's just you in that room and maybe you're, working virtually. But isn't it so sweet just to be able to come together and know there's other women maybe who are feeling a little bit of that doubt? You've created
Absolutely.
all these things and you feel a little doubt, or you're like questioning, is this really going to work? Am I really, is this really transforming anybody besides me? All these questions that we go through that would get, the self-talk. And when you can talk that out with other women, that's really special. And I think, ladies, when I look at all your reflections, I feel like it's somebody sitting there next to me, holding my hand, going, you know what? You don't have to do this alone. We've done it so long. And let me walk beside you. Let me come alongside you and help you along. And that's what we're going to talk a little bit about too. So first of all, I just want to just pop around and Kay, let's start with you and just introduce yourself real quickly and who you are and and a little bit about you, something special.
Thank you, Karen. I'm going to start by asking a question. Who knows a woman who you would say she is talented, she works incredibly hard, she is someone that always delivers, yet she consistently gets overlooked for the best opportunities, the promotions, and raises. Anybody know someone like that? Okay. Well, those are the women that I work with. Those women that are really struggling to be seen and heard in the workplace. I'm Kay Fittis. I'm the CEO of High Heel Success LLC, and I work to position women so that they will be recognized, respected, and also rewarded for all of their hard work. And, when I do that, I will say that I see incredible changes for women in nonprofits in corporate America, but also entrepreneurs as well. So that's a little bit about the business. I'll tell you just a hair about me. I have been married forever. I have two wonderful children and grandchildren, and right now is a pivotal time because we're getting ready to go on the annual K birthday antique tour. This is where my husband drives me all across the United States and hauls back a U-Haul from state after state.
Oh,
Michigan, North Carolina, Indiana. We've been all those places because antiques are my obsession, and he is, in fact, my enabler. So that's a little bit about me personally, probably far more than you ever wanted to know.
oh, I love it though. Isn't it those little things sometimes that we can grab onto that's like, oh, well, that's really interesting. We have these personas that we have out here, our
Yep.
business personas, but it's really nice to have a little something that we can
Just a
relate to.
just a little bit more than the high heels, right?
Yeah, and there you go. Exactly. So, all right, we're going to pop over to Dia. Dia, welcome. Good to see you here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be a part of this. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Carol. Um, so my name is Dia Billiter, and I am a real estate agent in Cincinnati, Ohio. And so a little bit about me. I have been back in the real estate business since 2020, was originally licensed in 2008. And so those are two very interesting real estate markets to be a
Mhm.
part of. So I've seen a little bit of everything as far as real estate goes. But my passion is really people, and women specifically. I have experienced a lot of traumatic things in my life. But what I have learned is that trauma is our superpower. Okay. So let me explain that. Um, Trauma is my superpower. And what I mean by that is that trauma does not define me, but it has allowed me to become who I am today. Okay.
Mhm.
So, for that reason, I have really dug into empathy. I've really dug into mental health. I've studied it. And that brings me to my reflection. So, my reflection is about how our homes can really be a sanctuary for our mental health. And so, what I want you to experience from my reflection today is how we can tie that all together and create these soft, safe spaces in our homes that really will support our mental health, wellness, and well being. So, it doesn't take a lot, and it just takes a little tiny space because we all know that when we have chaos going on in our homes, that chaos carries over into our work and just, filters its way into every part of our lives. So I'm super passionate about this, and I think as women, we all know what that's like. So
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
why I'm here.
Yeah, it's so great to have you. And we're going to talk a little bit more about your reflection too, because I have some thoughts about it in my own life too. So, but right now,
Yes.
let's just go ahead and introduce Angie. If you want to just say a couple words about yourself and yeah, say hello.
Sure, thank you. So I'm Angie Snowball, founder of the Snowball Effect, which is all about personal branding, finding your story, and then rolling it into a giant snowball and throwing it all over social media, preferably LinkedIn, because that's the B2B place and that's what I know the most about. But that's what I help people do. And I love how you started this, Karen, with the imposter syndrome type of feeling, because I think we do all have that in many ways. I actually recently did a course on it, how to overcome imposter syndrome. And then this morning, and at the end of the course, I tell people keep this handy because you will get new types of imposter syndrome. It will morph and it will change, and you will have it the rest of your life. And this morning, when I saw the graphic you gave me, I had imposter syndrome again. Like, I can't believe I'm out here with all these great people doing this great thing. But yeah, and I think that happens
Yeah.
on social media. People are like, oh, does anybody really want to know my story? Is this really worth telling? I don't know. Am I just like bragging? And the thing about our stories is they can change lives. And we don't know whose and we don't know when, but it's not going to change a life if we don't tell it. So I'm passionate about helping everybody realize that their story is important and that somebody needs to hear it and helping them find a way to tell it.
Oh, Angie, thank you for doing that too, because I have been sharing women's stories for over 12 years. And one of the things that I've noticed, just like here, how you're all sharing a little bit of you in your story, is that as women, that's how we relate. It's not the circumstance, like Dia was saying, the trauma. It's how we got through it or how we're using it or the lessons learned. And that's what we relate. And so a lot of times at my events, I have these little signs that say, I relate. And I see those signs going up. It's like, yes, I felt the same thing. It was a totally different situation, but it was that emotion that we had to go through, that we had to overcome. And maybe we had to tap into our grit or our resilience or these different things that we experience. And that's what this magazine is about, is to helping to take you through that next experience. Maybe you're in the midst of a story and you need Angie to help you walk through the story and how to share that story. Maybe you're through it when you need to share your story. So it can then touch the hearts of somebody else. So many great things. Yes. And then let's keep going here and introduce, I think Jasna's taking a moment there. I know she's at work as well. So let's pop over to Claire and then we'll come back to Jasna if she's free. And then we'll go to Diane and Deborah. So Claire, just say hello.
Hello, hello. Thank you first for including me, and I was very honored when Carol sent me a private message and invited me to be part of this project. And it's like it was such an honor that she respected what I do and that I can impact other people's lives. So I'm Claire Schmore. I'm founder and CEO of A Better Life RX. So the RX because I'm a pharmacist. So I'm a retired pharmacist. And I tell people I'm repurposed as a metabolic health coach. And so I've been as a pharmacist for some years and a diabetes specialist as well for over 10 years. So I've been coaching metabolically for decades as far as trying to reduce insulin resistance and increase insulin sensitivity and working on a holistic manner. So as we're moving away from being a weight loss focused company to being a metabolic health company, I'm thrilled because that's right up my alleyway. The more I coach, maybe I should be a why coach. So a why coach is somebody that focuses on somebody's why. Why do they want to get healthy? Why do they want to move away from something and towards something else? And the more we focus on people's whys, the more active they are towards getting that. I keep seeing women and men who are constantly givers and they're constantly giving to everybody else first and putting themselves last. And the old adage is you can't pour from an empty cup. And when the oxygen comes down, put it on you first, because if you don't, you could pass out before you ever get it on your kid. So, just being aware of people's pains and struggles and asking questions and having them reflect back on what the situation is. So my client check-in calls are quite lengthy sometimes, but they're very rewarding. And not only to me, but to them as well. So they tell me I make a difference in their lives. So that's what I want to keep doing, is making a difference in people's lives.
Yeah, I love that. And what an important topic to bring to the table. And so that's what and the things I love about having this magazine is that it continues to live. It continues to make an impact and also to give you permission to take that time for yourself, ladies. Claire was just saying, discover your why. Why is it that you want to be healthier? Or, and Dia is going to create a soft space for you to take that time. And, we're going to explore all these different things about us so we can show up in our best selves or be able to give more, especially with these people who love to give. Like you said, to take a little time for yourself first so you can give in the best way possible. Thanks, Claire. And Diane, let's say hello. Good to have you here.
Hi, I want to say thank you so much to Karen and Carol for inviting me to be part of this magazine issue. So my name's Diane Vanderbrink. I'm a native New Yorker, but I live in Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm a surgeon's wife, and we moved 3 times in 4 years when my 2 daughters were about newborn to toddler age. So I never lived outside of New York, so that was a whole new experience for us moving to the Midwest. We lived in Indianapolis and then Columbus and then now here in Cincinnati, and we've been here for 14 years now. So New York's still home, but so I turned 50 2 years ago. So kind of in that midlife, growing children. My oldest daughter just finished her sophomore year in college. Our youngest daughter just finished her sophomore year or senior year in high school. And I've already lost both of my parents to lifestyle related diseases. And my in-laws both have Alzheimer's disease. So just kind of a little bit about myself, my life, my family. When my kids were young on that third move, I was still holding the baby weight when my youngest was 3, and a friend introduced me, invited me to an event, and I said yes. And in that event, I learned about a solution to help make health and wellness a priority in your life and with nutrition and fitness. And I said yes. And that yes changed the trajectory of my life. I became a health and fitness coach, and I've been doing that for the past 15 years. Kind of evolved depending on the stage of life that I was in. Initially helping those new moms lose the baby weight, and then also moving 3 times in 4 years, those moms that have moved somewhere new, and you focus on the rest of the family, your husband with his work and the kids with school, and you then finally helping and focusing on yourself. Like you said, we often put ourselves on the back burner. We give to others. We have to put that oxygen mask on ourselves first and fill our own bucket first. So then I was kind of helping those moms that were both working outside of the home and raising their kids through elementary, middle school, high school. And now I'm at this act 2, this different stage in my life, midlife. We are going to be empty nesters come the fall. Again, don't have family nearby. All of our family's pretty much in New York. I've had my own business, work at home for the past 15 years. So I definitely need more social. Community is huge for me. I am a people person. I'm active. I'm a marathoner, triathlete. I like to say my superpower is I'm a connector. I connect people to people and people to resources. Things that have worked for me, I love to share. If it's a book, if it's a product, if it's a podcast, a video. So I've evolved one more time again, kind of being in that midlife 51. I'm in perimenopause. So all that comes with that and the mental health issues. Again, having growing children, also helping out with aging parents. I've kind of evolved and relaunched my business now as Brink of Wellness. We're kind of at that point, that midlife that you kind of, it's kind of do or die. It's time to make that change because what we do now is going to help us so much further in the future with our physical health, our mental health. So Brink of Wellness CEO, and what I do is I help the sandwich generation navigate this midlife season of chaos so that you can live well and thrive. I'm really looking forward to this next stage, this next act. Everyone that I've talked to that are empty nesters is like, you're going to love it. And I've been, for the past 2 years since my oldest daughter went off to college, been dreading it because I was like, what am I going to do? Things are going to change. Being a stay-at-home mom was such an identity of me, and losing that. I'll always be a mom, but that stay-at-home mom was such a big part of my life. My business was kind of the side hobby, but now it's going to become more of a focus. And I'm so looking forward to helping more women in this stage of life, in this midlife, this sandwich generation of doing things for yourself, making yourself a priority, doing those things that you've put off for so long, and just having fun in these next years.
Yeah, that's lovely. And that's what the magazine too is there for. Is to help you walk through these different seasons of life because there's that 50 where you're learning, okay, you're becoming in that empty nester, all these changes, the relationships change and so many pivots. And then you hit 60 and there's a whole new season to embrace. And what is that going to look like? So many changes and transitions. And that's what this magazine is really for. So we're going to pop over to Deborah and then we'll go to Jasna. And then we're going to pop around right after that, just real quickly and talk about your reflections a little bit, what women will experience. So Deborah, you could say hello.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It's so nice to see all your faces. I live north of the Atlanta area, and I was introduced to Carol through a mutual colleague of ours. And so I've spent some time with many of these beautiful women at events and Carol's conferences. And I haven't been up there for a while. I miss you all, but I'm coming back. I am. I just have to create the event so I show up for it. Right, Carol?
There we go.
I never did answer the question on the thread about why do I show up. I show up to work with you about how you show up, where you show up, how you look, what you talk about when you get there,
Hmm.
how you leave people feeling after they've been in your presence. To me, that is your brand. So I am a personal brand stylist, recovering image consultant, but changed the language to be a little more current and to embrace all the things that
Yeah.
I do and work with you about. So I'm a makeup artist, a personal shopper. I analyze your colors. We get you ready for your event because these are the things that really nobody teaches us. You can
Mhm.
hire a speaking coach and write a great talk, but who teaches you about all the questions to ask before you show up at the venue to speak, so that you're fully prepared and you can really maximize the impact of your message because your physical presence has already sent a really strong message to the crowd before you ever open your mouth, both
Yes.
online and in person.
Okay, and we've got it right there because, ladies, everything, everywhere we're showing up, well, that's our personal brand. So when you show up with a smile or whatever your expressions are, too, and I think you said something really important there, Deborah. How do you want people to feel? What is that? What are people going to feel when they're in your presence? Are they going to feel that warm hug? Are they going to feel professional? What is it that, we talked about that more, how we want people to feel in our presence. That might change maybe how we're showing up online and stuff. So I just love that whole personal branding. I'm totally into that. So I'm so glad that we're talking about this topic too. So I'm not sure if Jasna is able to come Papa on or not. Let's see if she is. Otherwise, we're going to just pop around real quick and talk about our reflections a little bit. I think she might be with a client, so we'll give her some more space there. So just real quickly, in 30 seconds, let's just talk about, because do want to keep this real timely. Kay, tell us just real quickly what your reflection is and what women will experience and maybe who it's for.
This is really for the woman who is likely in corporate America, but it certainly can be applicable to women that are entrepreneurs as well. The reflections focus on the core of my business, which is the 6 Ps, the 6 power Ps. And as an example, in the reflection about power professional esteem, there's a question about your credibility, your expertise, your credentials. Are they commensurate with the salary that you command or the client fee that you command? Are they aligned, or is there a significant gap there? And really, what is that all about? So this isn't an opportunity to say, I'm going to try to be someone else. The reflections are an opportunity to say, I am likely far more powerful and influential than I ever realized that I am. And is it possibly time for me to say, I'm going to stop waiting to be noticed, and I am going to get the attention in a positive way that I deserve and that I have earned, more importantly.
There we go. And
That's a nutshell.
that is, and thank you very much for that. That is great because when we write it on paper,
Oh,
it's
powerful.
our book of proof. And
Yes.
ladies, you can go back to it time and time again. And
Yes.
so when you have that doubt, or you're approaching a new person or a new client or whatever that looks like for you, pull out that piece of paper that you've done your
Yeah.
reflection on and go, hey, here's my book of proof.
Yeah.
just
I call that your critical evidence.
there we go. I love that term.
Your
We're going to have
critical
our
evidence.
critical evidence. Excellent.
That's right.
And we have Kay there beside us to help us walk through that. So let's pop over to Dia, excuse me. Dia, you talk about soft spaces, and this is what I love. I am actually creating a new soft space in my house as we speak. My son is painting. And he's creating a space for me because I was so inspired by your reflection. I thought, I've got to create something just really beautiful. And we had kind of moved things around. I'm like, I need a new soft space where I can film and I can have this beautiful light and all these things.
Yes, I love that. I love that. So I'm glad that that inspired you. It actually inspired myself too.
Oh, good. There we
I
go.
created a new space in my house too. But yes, I love that. So my reflection is for anyone who is struggling with their environment in their home. So I know that, when you have chaos, and when I say chaos, it can be mental chaos, but it can also be physical chaos, lots of clutter, lots of, things going on, or maybe it's just a lot of, noisy space, we all need a space where we can go and just be. There
Yeah.
is that reading corner, or if you're like me, maybe when you may have sleep issues and you need a place where you wind down so that you can get that rest that you need, right? So this reflection is just walks you through some really simple ways that it doesn't have to be the whole house, right? But it helps you step by step just walk through little areas in your home and helps you identify where those areas can be, where you can just develop a nice space just for you and your mental well-being. Because it's just so important that we have those spaces in our homes. Our homes are our safe spaces, and we need to make them feel that way, because if home doesn't feel like a safe space, where can we go to feel safe?
Right. Absolutely. Thanks for sharing. And Carol, talk to us. You have a little reflection in the magazine as well. So
I
tell us.
do.
You do. You have a mission, girl.
I do have a mission, and it's my reflection is all about the women out there that are struggling with being afraid. They're fearful of taking that next step. So whether I believe that we all have goals and dreams and desires, and many of us have that little voice in our head saying, what if I fail, right? What if I succeed? Some of us are afraid of succeeding as well. And when I first heard that, I said, what? How can you be afraid of succeeding? But that fear factor gets all of us stuck in our own way. And so my reflection is called Own Your Vision to Success. And I want to help other women who have that fear factor in them know that they have everything that they need within themselves to achieve whatever goal they have in their mind, dream, desire, whether it's a business goal, a personal health and wellness goal. But we all have it within ourselves to own that vision to success. And so my reflection piece is really all about defining what is that vision that you have for yourself. What are those fear factors that are holding you back? And really inspire you to take those next steps. And even if those next steps are imperfect, right? Take imperfect action and just do it anyway. And let me just say, as I have done it myself, I spent 2 years, I'm going to say I lost 2 years of my life when I did this exercise, creating this reflection piece, I realized that I had lost 2 years of my life holding myself back from launching Beautiful Faces Going Places Women's Success Network. And I think to myself, we could be celebrating 10 years this year if I had not doubted myself and held myself back by all the fears and the little voices in my head, questioning and doubting myself. And then when I finally said, slap yourself, Carol, you're a former Chamber of Commerce executive director. You ran a very successful Chamber of Commerce. If you can do that for an organization, you can certainly do it for your own community, right? Beautiful Faces Going Places Women's Success Network. So my goal and intention and desire is hoping that this reflection piece will help other women out there take action, move through their fears, and just do it. And tweak it along the way, along the way. So
yeah, just like Nike says, just do it, girls.
do
You
it.
know, one of the things, Carol, that I love about the reflections is that they're short. They're meant for a little 10-minute me time. You know, we're all busy. We all got these, or you can just pick out one page. You have some really good, like, I will, little affirmations. Another page has some questions, and it's like 4 questions, but you can just sit and it's like a little journal prompt. Take 10 minutes for yourself in the morning. Go sit with a magazine. There's also a PDF version that you can download. Eventually, we're hoping to have it on Amazon as well, so you can have an actual paper copy. But right now, just answer the questions, and it's just so sweet. So thank you for creating that.
Thank you.
Yes. And I'm just going to take a minute because it doesn't look like Jasna. It must be with some clients there, but I just wanted to say a little bit about her too. A little bit about her bio. She says she's a 2-time immigrant, having to have left friends, family, and pretty much everything that she knew in her own story. And so her reflection is a bit about taking that next brave step, girls, walking through transitions, or whatever transition. Maybe you're moving, maybe you're pivoting your business, maybe you're walking into something new. And so she helps you walk through that in a really sweet way and to take those brave steps. So just wanted to make sure that we acknowledge her. And Angie, how about your reflection? What are you walking the ladies through, and what would you like them to experience?
Well, you're really lining me up here. I appreciate that, Karen.
Oh, sure.
Part of my reflection is to help you be concise. Your message needs to be concise and short because no one has attention span anymore.
Yeah.
And a good message will take you to a conversation, but a long message just gets people lost. And that's why I push through the reflection is just, if you are feeling trapped, if you're feeling like you can't move, because that's kind of where my story comes from, is having that feeling of being trapped, that it's easier to get out if you just take it one piece at a time. So my reflection will take you through a way that you can get started with LinkedIn in 5 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day. Very simple steps that can start to help you tell your story piece by piece. And as you do it little by little, you become more and more comfortable. And before you know it, we're going to see your face every time we open up LinkedIn. So that's part of what I wanted to share in my reflection, was to not be afraid to tell your story. Most of us have felt trapped at some time or another. And the only way to get out of that is to choose to be out of it and take it one step at a time. Don't be afraid to take that first step. And maybe it's small. Maybe it's a short story. That's okay. It's what it's supposed to be, because a short message will take you to a meaningful conversation.
Yes, there's a lot of words out there now, especially with AI, and they're not always you. And that's one of the things too I want to bring back to these ladies, is that when they start walking through your reflection, it'll take you to your story, not AI's story about you. And we'll have that authenticity. And I think that's really important too. And the way you present your story too. And super great. Love it. I love stories. So I'm all about that. Thanks, Angie. And Claire, tell us a little bit about your reflection and what you would like women to experience out of it.
Well, a side reflection was prompted by what Angie just said, where so many people feel trapped and they feel like they just can't get out of this weight and unhealthy cycle. And so make a choice and take that next step. And we help people make those small steps. And it's just like, well, how can you drink an extra glass of water a day? and
Oh.
let's do 2 more glasses in a couple of days and things like that. Yep, I've got mine sitting here too. My biggest reflection is the quote that's in the magazine is that we need to merely stop pulling people out of the river. We need to go upstream and find out why they're falling in. And that's what health has become. People have become so unhealthy because of continual bad habits. And a lot of that stems from the two-parent workhorses. And there's no time to come home and prepare a meal like I grew up anyway, where my mom made a meal, even though she did work full time. So God love you, Mom. But it's just harried. So
Yeah.
helping people realize that they are important and they count,
Oh,
and to
yeah.
help them make their health span be equal to their lifespan.
I think you just hit something really important. Ladies, you are important. And I talk about this a lot about your story is worth, it's not only worth telling, it's worth celebrating. So you are worth celebrating and you have choices, but it has to go back to that, Claire, that we have to feel that we're worthy of it. And that goes to the why that you were talking about earlier. Well done, girls. I love this. And see how all this ties together? It just kind of hits all aspects of your life. And I just love the beauty of bringing this all together. Diane, so just real quickly, tell us a little bit about your reflection and what you would like women to experience out of it.
So, just a little backstory with my reflection. As I mentioned, I lost both of my parents already to lifestyle-related diseases. They were only 72 and 74, so younger than their own parents. So that really made health and well-being a priority in my life, my family's life, my community. And at their joint memorial, the pastor read a poem called Live Your Dash. I don't know if any of you have ever heard that before, but it's this lovely poem. I highly recommend Googling it. But the general gist of it is that dash. It's the dash between the day you were born and the day that you die, and how you're going to live that
Mhm.
dash. What are you going to do during your life, your time here on earth? And it had such an impact on me. I bought a necklace charm with it. I have a sticker on my computer with it. I have a sticker on my car with it. And that's just something that how am I going to live my dash? Because I spoke at my parents' memorial and I didn't have a lot to share. They didn't do a lot with their lives. They were kind of homebodies. They didn't leave this huge legacy. And I wanted something very different for my own life and for other women too. So my reflection is about living your dash, especially for women in the midlife or in that transition. As I said, I'm perimenopause, I'm empty nester. So kind of looking at that act two, how are you going to live this next half of your life? And the reflections have to do with different aspects of your life, like your well-being, your physical health, your community, fun and play, like bringing back that joy and adventure that we had as kids, that we were excited about things that we don't do novel things anymore. So my reflections have to do with that. And just finding the joy. I think
Yeah.
so much, and I myself struggle from anxiety and depression, and there's so much anxiety now and worry that we forget the opposite is joy. And I really want women to feel that joy again. And I think this reflection helps them kind of brainstorm and reflect about what would bring me joy, what used to bring me joy, or what's something that I've always wanted to do and never have that could bring me joy. And also that could connect you with other women with similar hobbies or interests, or other people that live locally to you, or other people that want to travel to beautiful places, going places. So beautiful faces going places, kind of, it all ties in together with that connection, that community, that support, that being brave, that taking the next step, just looking inward a little bit and finding out a little bit more like, who do I want to be, and who do I want to become? So that's what my reflection is about.
Yes, and living that dash. And you said something important. How do you want to live the second half of your life? Ladies, we still have a lot of life to live. And that's why the last issue was called She's Not Done Yet. We are not done yet. We have a lot to give. We have a lot of wisdom to share, a lot of life to live. So, how do you want to live that dash? And I just love that for that challenge. And and Deborah, what would you like women to experience from your reflection, and tell us just a little bit about it?
Sure. So on one of the pages in my reflection, it talks about that you're changing, you're evolving, you're growing, you're morphing, whatever you want to call it. Um, so has your physical image kept up with your internal image? Um, you're all bold and brilliant business owners. You have confidence in your business sense. That's why you started your own company, because you really believe in what you do. And that's really important. But do you have that same level of confidence about how you look and what you talk about and your posture? And it's not about the label in your jacket. Nobody cares about that. It's how you pull it off. So in really little print at the bottom of one of the pages, I feel like this summarizes my reflection. It says, if your ideal presence, your look, your energy, your personal brand could speak for you before you ever opened your mouth, what would it say about you?
Oh, wow. And to take a little reflection, and what is that? And what do you want to present? Do you want to present that joy or, and to apply a feeling with that as well? It's more than just what we see. It's what we feel, what we experience, all those good things, all those emotions that come along with it. So nicely done, ladies. I'm so excited for everyone to experience all of your reflections. And I'm just going to give you a big hug as we sign off here. I am so thrilled to bring you all together and for the women to experience all the love that you put into your reflections and to know that you have come alongside these women to help them take a brave step. Well done. Celebrating all of you today. And we're going to sign off here, ladies. Anybody want to say anything before we say goodbye for the day?
Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Carol.
Thank you
Yes, and
all.
don't forget to share our stuff
Wonderful
on
to be
social
together.
media, everybody, so we get to see these stories.
Yes,
Let's do it right
great.
now.
Yes, Angie, great reminder. Ladies, please, if you are watching this, if you are a friend or a colleague, please leave a comment because it gets it out to more women. And we want everyone to experience these reflections and all the goodness that's in the magazine. So go out and share. It's a free magazine. Just click on the link and enjoy. And we'll see you next time at the Being Brave Tour.
Take that next step so we can support you on your journey.
Thanks.